Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading First Peter chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, and we're continuing this section of the letter of Peter that is talking about wives and talking about their relationship with their husband. We just talked about or just saw in the previous reading, we saw that ladies were encouraged to focus on the inward person, the inward spirit, not worried about what they're wearing and in those things, putting all the focus on the external rather than focusing on the internal heart, spirit. We also saw that's application for all of us. We don't need to be as concerned about the external things as we are the internal. Now we turn to, or kind of swing back around where the chapter began, wives submit unto your own husbands. We've swung back around and come back to that theme again. And we see that the good godly leadership of the husband is what the wife is commanded to submit to, or should submit to anyway. Also keep in mind that Peter is talking about ladies whose husbands are not believers, and that this respectful submission to them within the culture of the ancient Romans at the time would help to win the husband to the Lord. So let's look into the text, see what exactly we're saying here. Verse 5, for this is how the holy women who hoped in God used to adorn themselves, talking about focusing on the inward heart, the quiet, beautiful inward spirit rather than what is on the outside. And then it said, by submitting to their own husbands. And if you remember back to even Sunday's sermon, husbands are a gift to you as a wife. The Lord will actually speak through them. We're going to see an example of that in a second with Sarah and Abraham. So by submitting to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Now, what's interesting about Sarah and Abraham, those patriarchs of the Old Testament, Sarah and Abraham, the father, the mother of all those that believe, is that we need to remember that Abraham uprooted Sarah in multiple different ways, leaving the family and going off to the land that God would show them, taking Isaac and sacrificing him, or going to do that, being willing to do that. Of course, the Lord did not have Abraham do that. Sarah was, under two circumstances, taken as a prisoner, as a wife for somebody, for the kings of the land. Sarah found herself in some very difficult situations because the Lord was calling Abraham. And through all of those situations, particularly the places where Sarah was taken into kind of the concubine area, the Lord protected Sarah through all of that, and she followed Abraham in all those areas. And of course, we don't have text on Abraham and Sarah. And Sarah saying, Abraham, are you sure we need to be doing this or going here? Are you sure the Lord said that? We don't have those discussions in Scripture, but I'm sure they had them. And the Lord was speaking through Abraham to lead Sarah to where they needed to be. And so Sarah and Abraham is the example given to us by Peter. And then Peter says, you are her children, if you do good and do not fear anything that is frightening. And indeed, Sarah would have found herself in several situations that were frightening, but she did not fear. She went as she was convinced that the Lord was calling them to do. If you're watching this, you're not married, you need to always ask yourself, the guy that you're dating or the men that you're looking for, are you willing to submit to them? Are they good leaders? Are they godly? Are they seeking after the Lord? Are they reading their Bibles? Are they kind? Are they gentle? Do they have the qualities of Christ? That's what you want to be looking for, not how much money they make or any of those sort of how good looking they are or whatnot. But looking at ultimately, are they seeking after the Lord, and are you going to be able to follow these verses in in relation to that man. So I pray that has been a blessing to you all. We're going to be talking about the men in our next video. God bless.